Ever since Dave Filoni was announced to become Lucasfilm's Star Wars Chief Creative Officer, there have been questions, but the biggest one that I have is, will he ruin Star Wars for more Andor-type shows? Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. I think we all can agree that Andor was something special in Star Wars. It brought something that we had never seen in Star Wars before, and that was a show without lightsabers, a show that brought more of the character focus and made meetings exciting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what Andor did was take what we knew about Star Wars and go back to the original stuff, go back to what inspired Star Wars, and then build up from that foundation. And that was something that just brought a new life to Star Wars, I feel.
Yeah, Andor really captured this everyday man kind of feel. It was a much smaller scale of the galaxy. It was vignettes of different people's perspectives, it seemed.
It asked the question, what would it be like to be someone in Star Wars that doesn't have the Force?
Yeah, who doesn't have a lineage.
Yeah, they didn't have, I'm powerful like my father before me, or they didn't have what is normally with Star Wars, where it's this very interconnected story. It focused on, let's tell a story about this character that eventually dies, but is part of the reason that the Empire falls. Let's bring it all the way back to the beginning, and let's tell a story of someone who wasn't special, who's someone who actively didn't want the spotlight, someone who wanted to run away, but was also caring enough that he could get involved with something like this.
Yeah, it was just a character that had special skill set because of his circumstances, and ends up choosing the side that he does. It's a very interesting human show that we haven't seen in Star Wars before, really.
Yeah, very human. But also, I want to bring this back to Dave Filoni and Taika Waititi. What do these two people have in common? Well, they're both being involved in Star Wars, and there's a meme running around online right now of Dave Filoni when he gets in charge of Star Wars and how he's going to impact Season 2 of Andor. Now, I don't think he's actually going to change anything with Andor Season 2, but it does make me ask the question, will we ever see anything like Andor again? Did Dave Filoni enjoy Andor enough, or identify the joys of Andor and the specialness of Andor enough to be able to say, hey, let's do more things like this?
I really don't know. The only things that I've seen from Dave Filoni are very much Dave Filoni.
Yes.
So
he's got a style, that is for sure.
Yeah. He has a way of telling stories, and he's got his characters that he really loves. I mean, I haven't heard any of his reactions to some of these other stories like Andor, so I really don't know what his personal opinion on them are.
Yeah.
I also don't know if he would have that much sway in something like that. I feel like he's not the person to be like, no, we're cutting that out. We're not doing any more Andor. I think he's more of the person who's like, okay, cool, this got approved, so...
Well, originally, yes. But now he is going to be the first step for many Star Wars projects. So there's going to be someone who brings in and attracts creative directors and filmmakers and storytellers to Star Wars. And then Dave Filoni is going to be more of the structuring of how the future of Star Wars is going to be. Think of him more of like the Kevin Feige of Star Wars. He's going to be the first point of contact on orchestrating the plan of Star Wars. And that does make me wonder, going forward, are we going to see more or less of certain things? Are we going to see more Andor-type shows, or are they going to be more Ahsoka-type shows? And honestly, from my gut reaction and what we've seen so far, and Dave Filoni's flavors and taste in Star Wars, I think we're going to see more Ahsoka than Andor. I think Andor might be the only thing of its type in Star Wars, but maybe we'll get things that are closer to Andor than they have been before. I feel like the Acolyte is going to be a good example of this, hopefully, of what does it look like for a story with Jedi to go a little bit darker and tell something that's not typically a Star Wars story. What does it look like for them to do something different in Star Wars in a different time period and tell something different than what is being told in the Mandoverse? maybe Dave Filoni's like, okay, this is the future of the Mandoverse. This is the future of this time period. Here's where the movies are going around. And then the rest of the stuff is almost more free game, and he goes into more consults because he's really good with big picture stuff. He doesn't get the details, though.
Yeah, I'm hopeful with the lineup that we have this coming year, because they all seem pretty different. So I'm hopeful that just kind of snowballs a good era of Star Wars, and that he will be like, no, we've been having different flavors. Let's keep it at that. Will he stick to it? I don't know. He's got his own taste, so we shall see.
It is rumored that the Acolyte is going to run for multiple seasons. We all but have officially confirmed that there's going to be a second season of Ahsoka. We know there's going to be a fourth season of The Mandalorian, and Skeleton Crew is definitely a spinoff. We know Andor is going to end with season 2, which is already underway. So we know a lot of what's already out there has an end date. But we have Ahsoka and we have the Acolyte that are more than likely going to continue past what their original first season is. And then The Mandalorian's The Mandalorian. It's going to continue until nobody watches it, and maybe even a little bit after that.
Yeah, either that or Pedro Pascal gets a better job offer. He's like, you know what? Peace out. I'm gone.
Well, we did get the announcement that he's basically just going to be the voice of the Mandalorian, and it's going. I highly doubt we'll ever see his face again. Which is a shame. Season 2, he was in the suit a lot more, but just couldn't get. He couldn't really get the benefit or the dexterity needed for a role like that. It was a lot more physical, and now he has moved, especially in season 3, he was moved to a voiceover only role.
Oh wow.
Which is a lot easier for him to do. I mean, he's getting announced for tons of different projects, so I don't think we'll see him anytime soon in the actual flesh. And I think that's going to hurt the story that they want to tell, honestly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that's shifting in what Star Wars is doing right now, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what they move forward with. And then there's Taika Waititi's comments around his movie's going to piss people off. And then the second thing was, which makes me really excited, is that he wants to go back and capture the joys and storytelling experiences of the original trilogy. And that is everything that I want in Star Wars. So I'm hopeful for this future. And honestly, I think there's benefits and downsides to having Dave Filoni where he is, depending on what that actually looks like. But I think there's going to be more benefits than downsides, ultimately.
Taika Waititi's comments are really interesting to me. Like, I wonder who it is he's trying to piss off.
My take on this is he's very aware of the Star Wars fandom. After having been experienced with the Marvel fandom, he knows no matter what he does, he's going to piss off Star Wars fans. Yeah. I mean, Ahsoka seemed like really well received when it came out, but now everyone's like, that show was terrible. It's
really?
Like, what do you mean? Like, there's a lot of, when something's coming out, there's usually excitement, and then after the show or movie comes out, there's generally less excitement and more negativity, and then a period of time passes, and then they go back and it's like, actually, this thing was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the future of Star Wars. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully we get some more cool experiences, and hopefully they don't stay away from ideas like Andor. Hopefully we get something like Andor again. But let us know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, check out our podcast, and may the Force be with you.